talk a little bit about this painting and creating the illusion of movement in water. Um, it's it's always been a difficult thing for me, particularly if you're working in the studio from a frozen photograph, a still. Because it takes something that's alive and active and just locks it down and freezes it. It'd be similar to painting children playing on a playground. You know, that motion, that movement, that activity is a big part of what's so beautiful to watch with something like that. But as soon as you run it through a camera, it freezes it solid and stops it. And in so doing, it kills a lot of what's going on. That's why I spend a lot of time on location, painting from life. And this painting was painted over in just outside of Monterey. And I had just a wonderful time studying this surf and what happens as it rolls in and out, the timing of it, what is different and what is similar. You know, how to lay down a stroke of clean white foam and keep it clean. How to pick up on some of those richer notes of color in the water. The character of the silhouette of this wave by cutting back into it with what's happening back here. A few soft edges to create even more movement and that suggestion of mist. But I think in order to really pull that off, folks, you've got to spend some time on location, observing this firsthand. Even if the paintings don't come out, you spend 2 hours doing that, you know, I hate to say it, but hundreds of times, and I guarantee you're going to walk away with some information that is going to benefit you. It took me a long time to learn that I would get this surf down, this darker color, and then drag these highlights over the top because that's what it seemed like was happening out there. But what would happen is this clean white paint would pick up what was underneath and create issues in terms of muddying that up. So I learned to go ahead and lay a lot of that white in terms of big shapes, and then cut back into it via the negative side with the richer color and the darker notes of, or midtones I should say, of that water. And then I could really capture the character of the movement of that foam and that surf and what it was doing relative to the darker water. And I was able to play one off the other and keep the color clean. So then I would sneak up on notes like this, and start from the gray and work up to the rich. You'll also notice in areas I was able to cut back into it and leave very fine lines to create some degree of line quality and textural variation to bring the viewer in and take it beyond subject and show the viewer that I love the character of oil paint, what a tool like a brush can do in the hands of somebody who wants to experiment and play with it. So think about that, you know, really watch that water, watch for those rhythms, watch for where it repeats itself and where there's unique variety. And when you see it, something that you think is going to support your idea, lock onto it, grab it, and throw it in. Like the difference between this hard edge against that rock and this soft, lost edge as it foams up, mist, turns into mist, and disappears into what's happening behind it, and how you can play one off the other, like I say, and use it to your advantage.
Hi, my name is Matt Smith. One of the primary goals of this online course is to give folks the opportunity to study with me for a full year at their convenience, on their own time frame. It's not always easy to block out a week or more time to travel to a distant location for the purpose of studying with an artist of choice. Allowing oneself to study as their schedule permits creates a more relaxed atmosphere, which in turn opens the mind to learning. This is an opportunity I really wish I had in my early years. The course begins with an introductory module covering the basic consideration of tools, equipment, studio arrangement, lighting, the importance of indoor versus outdoor time, photography as a tool, and much more. This first module will set the tone for the remaining modules, which will dive more deeply into the basics of drawing, value, design, and color. In the remaining 4 modules, I'll discuss why these basics are important, how to identify them, and in return, how to use them not only to analyze your chosen subject, but how to use them to create a blueprint for building your painting. It is so important to train your mind to see and think as an artist rather than someone who just documents what's in front of them. The way to do this is by understanding these fundamentals and applying them to the subject at hand. In other words, see by way of the basics, line, shape, value, etc., rather than all the physical components that make up the finished scene, like twigs, pebbles, and leaves. I'll then reinforce these concepts with both unedited visuals, photographs, and finished paintings that support the idea at hand. I'll then complete a demo of a subject that represents the particular fundamental addressed in each module. I'll also include a variety of photographic images for student use. Participants will also have access to me throughout the year by way of a private Facebook group. You'll be able to contact me with questions related to areas of difficulty or whatever you may be working on and want to discuss. This one-on-one time is where we can really fine-tune areas of interest for you. Thank you, and I really hope you can join me.